there now, but that was a slow burn that got up to that. But this has always been the case for these other franchises. And so to see them empowered again and to have to deal with them on Twitter and then coming and showing up into Target Center like they've been wearing that 23 and those Lakers hats for the last 4 years when they haven't is ridiculous. And I'm my stomach is churning just thinking about it.
So you're telling me that Kobe Bryant doesn't have a flawless personal record, as I've always told by Laker fans?
Rings. Well, but now one of the kind of really things I'm intrigued about by watching this Lakers experiment with LeBron is that there for years and years has been an absolute battle between Kobe fans and Laker fans and LeBron. And all of these Kobe fanatics have always downplayed LeBron's successes and have said, no way, I'm taking Kobe over him all day, every day, and LeBron's the worst, and like really demonizing him. So now it'll be interesting to see how quickly they kind of turn around on that, because there's already been the jokes from some of my friends in the kind of NBA Twitter sphere, like already calling LeBron the greatest Laker of all time, and like all of these things just to try and turn the screws on the Kobe fans. And so I think that the fact that Kobe has already come out and publicly endorsed it is going to be helpful to the whole situation. But there is absolutely this Hatfields and McCoys element of the LeBron fans and the Kobe fans that are going to be button heads on a nightly basis. It's going to be great.
Mentioned John's basketball shirt from SodaStick, sodastick.com earlier. Also, they're always cranking out new and kind of innovative stuff. Go to sodastick.com and check out their curling gold hats. They're back in stock. They feature stones from the end eight that put Team Schuster up 10-5 to win the Olympic gold. They're available in truckers and in flex fit hats. Get one before they sell out again. Again, go to sodastick.com to check out the full array. Also, check out their full Minnesota Curling Collection T-shirts if you haven't seen them already. Available in women's and youth fit too. Of course, we recommend their basketball stuff, the MPLS Minneapolis Lakers type shirt that they have. They have Vikings related stuff. They have basically every Minnesota sport is represented in some way, including your new curling stuff. Check out sodastick.com, and thanks to sodastick.com for sponsoring this program. What do you think the next Wolves move is?
Well, so right now they're out there exploring. Now, one thing that has become apparent in the Scott Layden, Tom Thibodeau era is that they literally call and check in and express interest on every available free agent, and it's like dizzying. So I know that people put out, hey, the Wolves express interest in this guy, express interest in that guy, and I'm a little loath to do that, because I think part of their strategy is we're calling on everybody so nobody knows what we're doing, and putting out those smoke screens and things like that. And so until there's actual offers extended, until there's actual agreements laid, a lot of this stuff is part of the circus, and so what they do need to do though now is we've kind of passed the phase of just making calls and saying, hey, would you be interested in coming to the Wolves? Hey, kind of that thing. It's time to start going out there and actually extending offers to people and trying to lock some guys in. And so, I've reported that I think Anthony Tolliver is a guy that they're looking at as a stretch for if they lose out on Bielitsa. They're looking at Dante Cunningham. I think Avery Bradley's still a target. Courtney Lee could be a possible trade target with the Knicks, but they're going to have to shift from kind of the due diligence and the exploration into deal-making mode here pretty soon. Now, one thing that would aid that is if they had an idea of what's going on with Belly. He is a restricted free agent. This market is death for restricted free agents, so he has not gotten any kind of an offer sheet to this point from a team that the Wolves can either say, okay, we're going to match that or we're going to let you go. So if they could get some kind of clarity in that over the next couple of days, I think they would like to, because they have to really know if they need stretch four, power forward, small forward type, which is what Belly is, or do they still need to go into that 2-3 shooting guard, small forward wing type, or do they feel okay with Rose and Okogie there right now? So depth-wise, I think they will look at kind of look a little bit more to the front court, because I don't think Gorgui Dieng's going to play a whole lot. They're going to need that floor spacer, that stretcher. They're going to need a shooter of some kind, whether he's a power forward or a shooting guard or a point guard. They got to have somebody that can knock down some threes, because Derrick Rose doesn't do that for them.
Let's thank Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin, Hoaglund. Google him, check out his business. I use his app. I correspond with his office whenever I need to. He's just a very easy guy, and his agency is very easy to work with. You know the State Farm name as well. Remember, Hoaglund.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
By the way, shout out to Cole Aldrich. Didn't play much, but a good dude, and he gave us the great Jebediah Towns line.
Absolutely. A super good dude. There's no question it's a contract, Tibbs' first signing, that absolutely didn't work. They spend a lot of money on him, relatively speaking, and they got next to nothing from him from a production standpoint. So that was a miss in terms of the talent part of things. But he was one of those guys in the locker room that you do need. He's a comic relief guy. He wasn't afraid to talk to anybody and tell anybody what he thought at any time. And those guys do have value. You're losing Jamal Crawford, who had that value. You're losing Cole Aldrich, who have that value. Now, on the court, X's and O's, matchups, losing both of those guys doesn't really hurt you, but in the kind of pressure cooker that is going to be coming this season with all of the expectations, with all of the challenges, you kind of need guys to be able to hold that locker room together, to be able to take the temperature of the water and figure things out and problem solve and identify issues as they're coming up and really just crack a joke at when you need it and get people
Tibbs
laughing.
Isn't going to do that this year?
Yeah. I don't think Tibbs, I don't think Jimmy, I don't think a lot of those guys do. That's just not in their character, their nature. And so they're going to miss Cole that way. And, that if they strike out on a bunch of other guys and they need to bring him back on a minimum deal, I would not be opposed to that from that aspect of things. Now, they have a lot more needs. They need to go out and get some talent that can absolutely help them. But, we will miss Cole around in the locker room. And it's not just the media that will miss him. It's the players. There was a lot of guys that really, really liked him and just what he brought to the table every day.
A lot of good Twitter questions. Let's try to buzz through some. Matthew Cryer, what's the process for petitioning the league to switch conferences, asking for a local basketball team?
Yeah, this has been a kind of a point of conversation for the last 15 years. Glenn Taylor did want it and did kind of push for it a while back, and there just hasn't been an ability for the NBA to really do it yet because of the geography of things as they are right now. Now, I mean, if they were to expand to Seattle or Las Vegas or something like that and add another West team, and maybe you need to balance things out and push somebody to the East, I think the Wolves and Memphis would be two really good candidates for that. But I don't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately. But it would be really nice because that East is wide freaking open right now.
Jason Moore, hitting on a theme we started talking about with LBJ in the West. Why not strip the roster, start over, dump Butler, Teague, Gibson, Rose for a younger roster, focused on Cat, Wiggins, and bring back Levine. Get back to Flip Saunders' plan, have a chance to be the next emerging team with the next 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, there is an argument for that. I just don't think that they are going to do it. They want to stay in this. They want to be competitive. They want to be back in the playoffs. They don't want to start another rebuild 1 year after finally ending the 14-year drought. The other part of it, like we said earlier, as it stands right now, LeBron on the Lakers with the cast around him, it doesn't strike fear into your heart. I mean, they should vault into the playoff discussion for sure. But I don't think Golden State and Houston are quaking in their boots. Now, if they do get Kawhi, yeah, then I think you look at that as a team that absolutely is going to vault into the top 4 in the West and is going to be just an incredible handful to deal with all season long. But right now, it's LeBron and a bunch of kids who are unproven, who for the first time will be in the LeBron spotlight, and we've seen how some players do struggle with that early. So it's not kind of a foregone conclusion that immediately you're going to say this is one of the teams to beat in the West. They have a lot of work to do. Maybe by the time we do the podcast again next week, they will have done that work and we'll say, okay, let's now they're legit and they're ready to roll. But there are a lot of holes on that roster that need to be worked on and filled before you just say, okay, the Lakers have LeBron, might as well start over. Now, if you can look at the Warriors and say we're not beating the Warriors, and maybe that's a different argument to have, that you can't get to the championship just yet. But they also, the final part of that is they want to win to try and convince Jimmy to stay and see if they can make this long-term thing work. And so there's a lot of elements in it yet, and I can see why they don't want to just blow it up. And because they've blown it up before, and you can see how it's easier said than done to do that and get into it. So I think they're going to stand pat. That's why they signed Rose right away like they did, and we'll see what happens.
From Justin, is a Love Wolves reunion possible with the news of Butler and Wiggins not getting along? What kind of deal would it require, in your opinion, to get something like Kevin Love done?
See, I don't see a match there. I mean, unless the Cavs want to take Gorgie Jang and his 3 years and $48 million for Kevin Love, I just can't see it, because if you bring Love in, that's the win now mode. But I don't, and he shoots threes, which would certainly help you. But you'd give up Wiggins and probably to get that deal done, and then you're still getting older and older and older, and so you have to, even though we just talked about wanting to be competitive, you do sort of have to try and straddle a line a little bit to say, okay, we can't give up Wiggins, because if we lose Jimmy Butler next summer, you want to have Towns and Wiggins to recalibrate around. So there are a lot of things that kind of play into this. But I will say that right now that, yeah, if the Cavs will take Gorgie Jang and filler for Kevin Love, yeah, let's do it and make it happen right now. But it's just the Wolves don't have the assets to make that happen.
If you'd like to advertise with this show, email me, jsouhan47@gmail.com. And if you'd like to advertise with any of the shows in the network, check it out. I think this is going to be a fascinating season for the Wolves. This show is going to be all over all the pertinent angles all year. So jump on board while you can. From Patrick Anderson, any ripples from LeBron signing that will affect the Wolves free agency? Also, update on the Wolves front office relationship with players.
So, yeah, I mean, the one thing to watch going forward here is how many of these veteran minimum guys or how many guys take discounts to try and go team up with LeBron. And, would Avery Bradley do that? I think, they already got KCP, so that's another guy that the Wolves theoretically could have had. But they took him for $12 million. And so there will be some sort of ripple effects probably. And the question but I still think that with the guys that the Timberwolves are targeting, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of sort of layering of that. I kind of threw out a crazy scenario last week where if LeBron had chosen Boston, maybe that ripples down to the Wolves because maybe they can get in on some sort of Kyrie Irving trade. Again, super long shot, probably never was realistic, but I don't think there's any kind of those direct ripple effects that will happen. I think some of the guys that they're chasing will still be within their realm, whether LeBron is with the Lakers or the Rockets or the Cavs or whoever. From
Luke Reachins, a good X's and O questions. Tibbs is looking to bring in guys that can guard multiple positions like Tolliver and Johnson. If that's the case, do you see the Wolves switching more often and icing less?
Well, that's a great question.